So here's what it's going to look like when it's finished up. Of course, it'll have some decals on it. But I have got the motor mount in. Take the cowling off. And there it is. Had to drill the holes in the front side, which wasn't too bad because all you have to do is line up your mount on this hole here. Made it really easy to get it into position, clamp it, and then drill all the holes. And I put the motor on it and it hangs on there just fine. The rest of the power unit is going to go in here. The battery will go on top. I've got straps for that. The ESC is going to sit under that tray. And the wires will go through here, through there, but not through here because the motor will be in the way. The wires are going to come up and over the firewall, through there, down, and I'll probably have to drill a hole right here to get the wires up there and fish them up. So back on there is, under here, you can't see it, there's a servo tray. This is all going to fit together really nice. This was a bit of a bother. I had to drill out those holes and then play around with the cowling and with the motor mounted temporarily to get all of that stuff positioned to make sure that this firewall here is in the right place. It slides back and forth, left and right even a little bit, and I've got just a tiny bit of down thrust cranked in. But I think that's going to work fine. It'll be really nice with that cowling on it. Okay, what's the next step? Well, let's see. It's going to be probably installing some more servos. As soon as the tail gets dry, I've got a slow cure epoxy back there and up here both. It takes it about 24 hours to get really hard, but is it ever strong? And then we'll be moving to the back of the airplane, installing clevises, control rods, servos. I got a canopy yet to go, and then decals, ESC, motor, cowling. Gosh, it'll be ready to fly. Ha! I've probably spent 7 or 8 hours on it already, and probably got another 3 or 4. Okay, more later. Okay, well, let's see. We got everything hooked up. We got a battery, we got an ESC, transmitters turned on, drops on good and tight. Let's see if we can make some noise. Well, definitely making some noise. Sounded pretty good. No vibration. I balanced the prop. And motor's running strong. I think that's going to do the trick. Now all I got to do is get the final wiring in on the ESC, install the receiver, some control rods and servos, and put the cowling back on. And I think she's about ready to take out to the field, but I don't think I'm going to be doing that anytime soon unless the weather changes. Okay, here we are next day. I've got the control rods in for the elevator and rudder. I've mounted the tail wheel, and it wasn't really problematic, but this piece here that joins the mount to the rudder, that steel rod came out to about right here, so I chopped it off. I don't know why they felt like they had to make that so long. The rudder control rod was binding, so if you look closely, I put a little bend in it. That relieved that. And those control rods actually go through tubes inside the fuselage up to the servos, which I now have mine are mounted as well. So let's go up and look at the servo mounts. There they are. They're not connected up yet, but all I gotta do is put them together. This came for the throttle elevator, the throttle servo. And I don't need that, so I'm going to use that for the elevator servo. Take the arm off, mount that on there, and then that'll make it easier to adjust the elevator if I ever need to. They only gave me one. I wish I had two. I'd have one for the rudder as well. I really like those guys when you can get to them, and they're so easy to adjust. Other than that, that's about it. Got all the cables in. ESC is in. I'm about ready to hook up these servos, power up the radio, and start fine-tuning trims and then doing some programming. That'll just about finish it up. All right. Well, here goes nothing. Got everything hooked up. The ailerons have not been adjusted yet. And yeah, that one's almost right, but the other one's about half an inch off. So let's see how it works. First of all, motor. Running, not running. Ailerons. Left turn, right turn. Yeah. Elevators, up, down, which we've already tested, and adjusted. Rudder. See. Oh, the rudder is reversed. Not good. Okay, we can fix that. Servo setup. Reverse. Rudder. Main screen, and right and left. Okay. That will be fixed when I program the AR637 for the first time, which is, let's see, first of all, we're going to true up these ailerons, and I'm going to do a little cosmetic work on them before I true them up. Then put the canopy on after I put the pilot in. No decals yet, but those are coming, they tell me, in the next shipment from Vietnam. And let's see, got a whole bunch of stuff left over down here, but pretty much done. Put a prop on it, obviously, and get it all adjusted. It's actually pretty much ready to fly at this point. It's been, so far, probably 8 to 10 hours to get all this set up. It's all relatively easy. Everything fit up pretty well. Could have made a few little changes, maybe here and there, to make things work a little better. But the instructions that came with the model were very, very detailed, and I had no problem at all following them. I didn't follow them in exactly the same order that they came in, which maybe it could have saved me a little time if I had done it exactly like they had suggested, but it all turned out okay, and there you go, everything's working. So let's get on with the elevators using my little gauge here and see how it looks when we get it all finished. I'm looking forward to flying it.